Hello, bandits. We got the other developer update yesterday, and today we also got some patch notes. So this is going to be a longer video than I normally make for YouTube's purposes, but I'm also not going to be exploring this on stream today, so I wanted to release a video for you guys so that we can explore this together. The developer update is coming out back so soon. Welcome to the developer update series, blah, blah, blah. Without further ado, there are killer updates. So starting with the Deathslinger, there's big changes coming. So we've kept an eye on the Deathslinger since his release last year. They've made a few small changes aimed at his power. I love puns. I honestly love puns, so I'm so glad they do this. I know I make it look like I don't like the pun, but I love puns so much. Currently, there's almost no delay between aiming down sights and being able to fire your weapon. Likewise, there's no delay between canceling your shot and going for a basic attack. It creates a lose-lose situation for the survivor where there's nothing they can realistically do but to avoid getting hit. For example, if there's a window vault, you can easily aim down sights and fire without giving them a chance to dodge your shot. And if they decide to go for not to go for the window, you can easily cancel your shot and hit with a basic attack, since there's almost no delay. So the changes they have in mind and what they're putting in are you can no longer shoot until you've fully aimed down sights. So this will create just a little extra delay instead of a out of the Deathslinger, which is kind of nice, but also going to suck for those who practice real hard at just flicking the shot. It increases the delay after canceling your shot before you can start a basic attack. This is going to be like, I know, with Pyramid Head when he puts it down in the ground and he goes to lift, when he lifts that out, he has a delay now before he can swing. He used to not have this delay. That's basically what's happening to Deathslinger. And then they decrease the movement speed penalty, which makes sense to me because, he's getting 2 nerfs to balance this out. You kind of need to buff something, otherwise he's just not going to feel right. And I think that Deathslinger's not incredibly unfair. They're just trying to close that gap between people feeling it as just pure frustration of like, I can't do anything in this situation. It's a 50-50 that I go one way or the other, but he wins both of those 50-50s, right? It's kind of a negative situation for the survivor when the killer enters you into a 50-50, which is just 100% in his favor. You know what I mean? And then last but not least, we've increased the Deathslinger's terror radius to 32 meters. This makes a lot of sense considering the man does not have a lullaby and was able to, and currently is able to, aim down his sights and fire at a survivor that has no indication that he's anywhere near them, which kind of sucks if he uses monitor and abuse. Now that'll change because monitor and abuse won't be quite as effective on him in that sense. It won't be that kind of, oh, he was nearby. That's nice. It'll be, oh shit, he's nearby, I better move because he could shoot me from fucking anywhere, right? And like usual, they've gone through a few of his add-ons to add some small buffs to the less used or overly powerful ones. Next is the Plague, and this excites me because I like Plague. I like Plague quite a bit. The Plague has been in the game for a while now. She hasn't seen a whole lot of changes, so they're making a set of quality of life changes, which I think is all you really need for Plague. I think she's the right level of powerful in the game. I think she's unplayed enough that she's not like, her secrets aren't just out there for everybody and everybody knows them too well, and you can't do anything about it if you're playing against survivors. I think even good survivors have a little bit of trouble because she isn't the most played. Kind of like Twins, she isn't the most played. The Twins aren't the most played, so first, they looked at infected objects. Previously, interacting with them would cause infection to increase faster. We're adding a penalty to interacting with something that's currently infected, meaning your infection will increase even faster than before. Additionally, they've increased the base infection duration on objects like generators from 35 seconds to 40 seconds. This 5-second window is actually super nice because sometimes you're just like, oh, they'll just wait out the 35 seconds before touching it. But 40 seconds gives you a little more time to be like, okay, I can get to this gen, and then this gen, and then by the time I'm getting off of this gen, they'll probably be trying to get on this, and I could probably puke at it and make it go. So that's really nice. They turned to the file purge next. which will make it so that Plague takes, because she takes a massive hit to her movement speed when she is on cooldown after purging or canceling her purge. They've increased her movement speed from 2.3 meters per second, which is incredibly low, to 3.6 meters a second, which is a lot faster, actually. And I'm excited to see how that plays. It'll cause her to lose far less ground. Yeah, far less is a good description of that when she does it. And one of the things that felt really bad for her was when you let go of her power a little too soon and she just chokes on it, right? Lots complains about this all the time. I'm kind of in the same boat of like, I mistimed this ever so slightly. Fuck. I'm on a fucking, like, massive lull in my game, and it just doesn't feel good when you're just trying to on a generator, you know what I mean? So they're letting that go. Now tapping the button and letting go before the minimum threshold will cause your power to continue charging until the maximum amount has been reached. Basically works like Hunter's Hatchet. So that's really cool. Finally, they've taken the time it takes to cleanse from 6 seconds and increased it to 8 seconds, 2 extra seconds. I don't know how that's going to make survivors feel, but honestly, from what I see, I think this is a nice little quality of life update for Plague. And like the other killers, they're revisiting some of her add-ons. The ones they chose to show us, because they didn't show us any of Deathslingers, but they did decide here, is the prayer tablet fragment, which now Vile Purge no longer affects survivors, which means you can't just vomit on a survivor. You have to hope they touch something. But in object infection duration by 40 seconds, that means 80 seconds infecting something, which is a lot more. Doubling the time is a ton. It increases the infection by 100%, which means this is now actually a viable add-on to use instead of just, oh, I can't affect survivors, skip it. That actually seems like it might have a little more use, forcing survivors to touch it, because it's enough time for you to kick a gen and it regress halfway, right? And then it increases the devious blood points by 100%, which, cool. And then the incense, I'm just going to call it that. Now survivors who cleanse at fountains have their orders revealed for 4 seconds. I imagine this is going to be a quite used perk now, or add-on now, because that's pretty hefty. 4 seconds of knowing where someone is, even if they're across the map, it's information, right? Not only is it information for you, it's information as to where the last cleansed thing is right away, which is really cool. And 4 seconds of knowing where they're going to go, which is a decent chunk. If this were Nurse, that would be way more powerful, but this is Plague, so we're pretty slow. I don't think it's going to be too effective, which I think these still fall firmly in the brown category, which is kind of nice. Survivor item add-on update. Surprise, we've also updated the description of item add-ons in this update as well. Like they've done with killers, each survivor add-on will now list their effects with the numbers rather than descriptive items like moderately, considerably, and so on. They're just adding to the update that they were going to give. Last time we spoke, they were going to do some little updates for killer. This time we speak, and they're doing something even better. Next is perk updates for survivors mostly. So now windows of opportunity, much like Zenshin Tactics, they're removing the cooldown for the perk, and they're increasing the ranges to 24, 28, and 32 meters. Great. Go away cooldowns. That's their little blurb. Repressed Alliance now has the potential to save a good chunk of progress when timed well, but due to its high requirements for the perk to activate, it often just wasn't ready when you needed it. That said, we've reduced the time required to the perk to 55, 50, and 45 seconds, which I think is nice. Not sure how that's going to play. I really have never used Repressed Alliance, so I honestly don't know. Built to last. This perk shipped with fairly safe numbers to make sure it couldn't get out of hand. That ended up making it pretty unpopular choice. Reworked it, far more effective now. Now, in a completely different thing, you have to hide in a locker when it's depleted for 14, 13, and 12 seconds respectively, and you will get a refill of 99% of its charges. That's a lot more than before's little 50 bump after a certain amount of time. Now it's, you have to do something to make it happen, but and albeit a lot of time in a locker, that's 12 seconds is nothing to scoff at. and then each use will reduce the number of charges refilled by 33%. So now it can be done multiple times, which is probably why there's a 12-second activation time for it in a locker, no less now, which I think is an interesting way to balance this. I want to see how this works because I really like Built to Last. I like it in its current state, actually. But this gives it a lot more use, and I'll see how that works. Any Means Necessary is getting an update. They've reduced the cooldown of any means necessary and saw more people start to use it. So it's not really where they're wanting it to be. So they're adding an aura reading effect to dropped pallets. I have no idea if this is going to be really that effective, but knowing where the pallet is so you can go pick it up is definitely making this a much more useful perk. No Mither is getting an update as well. As we all know, it's the hard mode for survivors because it's kind of nothing but negative. But they are changing certain things, so they've increased the grunts of pain reduction to 25, 50, and 75%, and they're adding 15, 20, and 25 increased recovery speed while in the dying state. And they mentioned that, yes, they know a lot of people use it as hard mode. They're not looking to get rid of that at all, as weird as that might sound. And lastly, this is a killer perk, Fearmonger or Mindbreaker. Mindbreaker is my preferred because it comes from the Demogorgon. Fearmonger, oh, cool. I don't understand why Mindbreaker needs to go as a name, but it does. So this is a simple one. Survivors who are working on a generator will now suffer from blindness in addition to exhaustion, and this will cause the perk not only to prevent the exhaustion perks, but also reading auras, which makes this a much more powerful perk and probably more useful at the end of the day for killers. And here's the big ticket, the hatch. The hatch and keys, by extension, have been a very contentious. Jesus, I can't read, guys. I'm dyslexic and dysgraphic. It's not a good time. Leading to some heated debates. It's changed to make them a little more fair. First, the hatch will no longer spawn when there's more than 3 survivors in the trial. Period. End of story. That means you don't have to worry about all 3 survivors vanishing when there's still 1 generator left. Additionally, the hatch will now take a few seconds to open with a key once it's closed. Progress does not reset when the survivor cancels the interaction. This eliminates the problem where survivors can simply run straight to the hatch and instantly open and escape. That said, these changes make Where Did They Go achievement impossible to obtain, so it will be changed to escape through the hatch using a key, which is understandable. When you can't do it anymore, you kind of have to change how that works. And we'll get to boon totems in just a second, but I actually really like this update. I think that hatch has often been kind of a stressor for killers, like just an extra level of, oh, they have a key, now I get to stress. This should, in theory, allow keys to be played more without people just straight tunneling you, and actually prevent a situation that I had in one of my games where I went, yep, there's a key, I'm gonna just, you're out, I can't, I don't want it, I don't want to deal with it. Not fun. And this poor girl left with 700 points because I was not willing to deal with a key that day. So I think that's a really nice little change that actually makes keys less aggravating for me to see as a killer and survivor, because as a survivor, I hate seeing keys. It just puts a target on everyone's back and encourages the killer to just, all right, tunnel the shit out of everybody, camp everybody, make sure that key never gets used. It really does. And boon totems. As promised, the Anniversary Live broadcast, we're introducing some new gameplay around totems. These will add extra objectives around the map, much like Killer's Hex totems are but they are tied to Survivor perks. Survivors will be able to bless a totem to change it into a boon totem. These blessings are designed to offer comfort to the Survivor team, small safe haven. However, unlike a Hex totem, the killer can also quickly interact with a boon totem, completely remove the associated blessing, once again turning it into a dull totem. They will also be able to hear boon totems when they're in range. Each survivor can only have 1 boon totem active at a time. The boon totem will combine the effects of all of their boon perks. So this makes totem cleansing very different. If you're running boons, you want to use a totem. And it actually might make some interesting little things happen. I don't know how to feel about it in reference to encouraging killers, for example, to use Noed, because the survivors aren't going to be cleansing, they're going to be blessing, and you can just unbless, and then it'll be your, With that, they come to an end of the developer update. this time for real. All changes mentioned in the past 2 and more will be available for testing in the PTB, which is coming out today, 10 minutes ago as I've been recording this. So without further ado, we move on to the Ptb notes. And actually, first things first, let's do this to my game. I won't be playing today. However, while I'm not intending to play today, I want this updated as soon as possible. I am going to be playing a different game today, guys, just because, you know, Tuesdays Steam shuts me down in the middle of my stream every time. Speaking of which, changes will be coming in the future to stream schedules due to work, but we will see how that affects everything. I should be able to keep my Fridays and my Saturdays and my Thursdays, and if I do that, then I'm not really too concerned about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and how I interact with them, or Monday through Wednesdays, you know, and how I interact with them. Without further ado, guys, let's get to the PTB. How to access it. I want the patch notes. They were the most important thing to me. So they've added a new survivor, Michaela Reed. Update the character portraits for several survivors: David, Jake, Nia, Kate, Quentin, and Feng, which I think is important because I think Quentin still looks like old Quentin, and now we have new Quentin. This will be nice, just to see a little bit of a difference. Balance. Item add-on descriptions have been rewritten considerably, and other vague have been replaced with numbers and values. They added in reminder text for status effects. The hatch will no longer appear when one survivor is left alive. Survivors can open the hatch after it's been kicked shut by using a key. Keys interactions will now take 2.5 seconds, which is actually a big chunk, and does not lose progress when interrupted. So if you start opening it, it'll stay there. You're halfway. You can run away and come back and do the other half and cycle if you need to, right? Where did they go is no longer a thing. The key to escaping is a thing now. The Trapper base traps is now 2. It was 1. Trap aura color changed from red to white to be consistent with other killer object auras. Nice to see. The number of traps spawned on a given map is now always 6. It was random. Add-on Trapper Glove setting speed bonus increased to 30%. This is a really long one, by the way. It was 20. The Wax Brick Trap Escape modifier added effect 33% increase to rescue and escape time, which is nice. Rarity decreased to uncommon. It was rare. That's interesting. The first Trapper Bag reduced number of additional traps to 1. It was 2. Rarity increased to rare. Was uncommon. The secondary coil increased trap disarm time to 50% instead of 43. Fastening tools trap escape modifier removed, added effect 25% to rescue and escaping time. Rarity decreased to rare, was very rare. Rework add-on oily coil. When resetting a bear trap, or reveal the aura of most recent survivor to disarm it for 5 seconds. And the trapper sack. Reveal the aura of the most recent survivor to disarm it for 5 seconds. That's actually pretty cool. Huh. So when resetting it, you reveal an aura. That's pretty nuts. That's interesting. I like how that works. Trapper sack. Bear traps carried at the beginning of the trial instead of spawning on the map. Bear traps cannot be picked up. That's just a rework entirely to it. New add-on, Bear Oil. Setting bear trap is silent. That's going to be a used perk. For those trappers who know, when you set a bear trap, it's pretty loud, and it gives the survivor the notification that they can leave the loop. This will allow you, in theory, to set a trap mid-chase and make good use of it. As long as you're smart about how you do it, right? New add-on, Makeshift Wrap. The trapper cannot be caught in his bear trap. That's going to get really used. The bear trap will be disarmed if the trapper steps on it. This is eerie. If those of you who watch Aughts, you know he did a whole video on changes. This is one of the suggested changes he had to Trapper in general, and they're putting it in as an add-on, which is kind of interesting. Coffee Grinds. Gain a 5% haste status effect for 5 seconds after setting a bear trap. Cool. I have no idea if that's going to be that cool. New add-on, Lengthened Jaws. Bear traps inflict deep wounds on survivors. That's pretty cool. Tension Spring, new add-on. Bear Trap resets 2 seconds after a survivor escapes from it, which is pretty cool. And the following add-ons have been removed: Strong Coil Spring, Trap Setter, Logwood Die, Setting Tools, Stitched Bag. All of these, aside from the Stitched Bag, seem okay. Logwood Die is going to suck because a lot of people like the blackening of them, but there's still a darker trap thing from what I can tell, right? Trap Setters, Setting Tools, yeah. New bear trap sound effect when using padded jaws add-on, so people will know that they're in a padded jaws trap. The Wraith and cloaking speed duration reduced to 1 second. It was 1.25, not huge, but I'm certain it'll see some changes. All seeing blood or revealing range decreased to 8 meters, was 12. I don't know how 4 meters is going to affect it, but that is interesting. Hillbilly, the add-on. Yeah, actually, I think that Wraith is going to be quite nice. Those 2 little changes should make him a little less powerful while not taking away what he just got. You know what I mean? Add-on, Death Engravings added effect. Decrease heat generated while charging by 14%. Doom Engravings added decreased heat generated by 14%. Mother Helpers, charge speed bonus after being stunned increased to 18%. It was 12. I'm not the hugest Hillbilly player, so I'm not sure how exactly those 3 are going to affect things, but they seem nice. They seem like they're adding a couple of things that make it a little less painful to use the chainsaw and encourage you to use it more. Tuned Carburetor, charge speed bonus increased to 25. It was 20%. Cool. Reworked add-on Black Grease increases chainsaw charge speed by 18% for 30 seconds after being blinded. Huh. Okay. And they reworked the Pig House Gloves, increasing the action speed by 20% when breaking pallets or walls or damaging generators while overheated. Decreases the duration of pallet stuns by 50%. That seems quite powerful, and I think that hillbillies that suffer from dropped pallets while they're overheating will be very happy to pair this with his own perk. This number right here, 50%, is actually a pretty big chunk of decreased duration, and I think it might kind of replace that perk in some people's arsenals. The Nurse add-on. Torn Bookmark removed line of sight restrictions. Added increased effect blink recharge by 50%. So there no longer is there a sight restriction on the Torn Bookmark, and you can blink 50% faster. I believe this is the one that gives you 1 blink. No, that's not it. There's something about it. I don't remember what this perk is. Let me look at the Torn Bookmark as it is right now. I'm unsure. Torn Bookmark is blah, blah, blah. Mouse over modifiers. Yeah, adds 1 blink charge. Unable to blink target location. She does not have direct line of sight. That's a buff to an iridescent on her. I think that might be a bit much, but we'll see. The Shape. Memorial Flowery rarity decreased to common was uncommon. Vanity Mirror removed the speed penalty. Interesting. Judith Tombstone. Speed penalty now only applies to evil within 3. Interesting. These were not the expected changes I was thinking of for the Shape. I was thinking more of a balancing of how his add-ons functioned, but decreasing to a more common thing in the rarity, and the Vanity Mirror not having a speed penalty is kind of nice for those of you who do like to play in Tier 2 constantly, and I would like to see more Tier 2 only Myers, because it does reduce him to a slightly faster kind of killer in a way in Tier 2, and I think there's a lot of potential in Tier 2 that we don't tap into because the item kind of sucks to use right now to make you permanently Tier 2. And I think this will change that. But it also makes Judith's Tombstone a little more useful, because now the speed penalty only exists in evil within 3. Which is smart, but making it more powerful for sure. I think they're trying to balance out the Shape, and I don't know how I feel about the Judith's Tombstone. I think it might be the wrong step. but who knows? Add-on, Waterlogged Shoe for the Hag. Increased speed bonus to 4.5% was 2%. Okay. Really don't know how that's going to affect the game. I think it's going to make Hag a little more popular of an add-on to use. Waterlogged Shoe, Hag was performing add-on, worst performing add-on, so we've given it a buff to help it make more viable. Regular Killer Speed. That's actually pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Developer rarity change, blah, blah, blah. Condensed players use these add-ons for cosmetic purposes. Yeah, interesting. Pig. Lots of changes to Pig. Add-on, Bag of Gears. Increased reverse bear trap setting speed bonus to 50% was 20%. Holy crap, just making it faster. Crate of Gears, decreased jigsaw box search penalty to 33% was 43%. That's kind of nice because now, you know. Tampered timer, decreased reverse bear trap death timer modification to 20 seconds was 30 seconds. That'll be nice. It's not going to be like a death sentence to its existence. Add-on, rule set number 2, decreased rarity to rare was ultra rare. Amanda's letter, jigsaw box reduction removed. Aura reveal range increased to 16 meters was 12 meters. Reworked add-on, John's medical file. Increased crouch movement speed by 6%. Reworked add-on, razor wires. Failing a jigsaw box skill check while uninjured will injure the survivor. That's pretty nuts, actually. And actually quite a bit more of a use to it. But, you know, failing skill checks is always one of those things that's like, yeah, but how often? I fail skill checks once in a while, but not every 2 seconds, you know? Reworked add-on, Workshop Grease. Increases ambush attack charge speed by 50%. Decreases ambush attack missed cooldown by 25%. And increased rarity to uncommon was common. That's pretty nice for those who like to use the ambush. It's going to be a lot more usable in general, because right now the ambush is basically worthless to you. I hate to say it. It just doesn't... It creates a loud notification and punishes you for doing something a little stealthy. Now it's going to be at least a little faster and a little scarier. 50% is a lot. Reworked add-on Last Will. Increases ambush attack movement speed by 6%. Increased time to charge ambush by 66. So you'll kind of want to... I don't... It's such a negative effect on the back end of it. The charge time by 66% is quite a bit. So you basically have to use these two together, Workshop Grease and Last Will, to get Last Will to do what you want it to do. That 6%, I don't know. I think that might just not get used, especially on its own. 66% when you're ambush, like you're trying to buff the ambush, right? But it feels like you're punishing me for doing it. So we'll see how that works. Reworked add-on, Interlocking Razor. Failing a jigsaw box skill check while injured will inflict deep wounds on the survivor. That's cruel. But, again, requires them to fail a skill check, so should be fair enough. Reworked add-on, Jigsaw's Annotated Plan. Increases available reverse bear traps by 1. Increase reverse bear trap death timer by 10 seconds. So it gives them more time, but you get another one. Whenever a generator is completed, 10 seconds is removed from the death timer of all active reverse bear traps. I don't know that this is going to be that great, all things considered. The main strategy against Amanda right now is to just not finish the gens, which encourages her to run Ruin and Surveillance. So we'll see. Reworked an add-on videotape. Survivors begin the trial with reverse bear traps installed. Oh my god. It's now ultra rare instead of uncommon. That's big. That's big, but I don't know how much of an effect that's going to have. That is huge, though. It still requires them to finish a damn, that's huge. That's an that's a god tier add-on now. No shit, it's an ultra rare. Um, Jesus. Okay. I mean, starting with a bear trap is instantly wasting. How long does it take to search a box, right? It takes about, even if it took like 10 seconds, that's 40 seconds of their time right at the beginning of the match. It's kind of going to be just like Freddy's. They start in the dream world, except you start with a bear trap on your head. That add-on scares me a little bit, but at least it's a ultra rare now instead of an uncommon. That's crazy. That is crazy. Holy crap. While phasing, sorry, the spirit, we've been waiting for this one. While phase walking, survivors within 24 meters of the spirit, not the husk, hear a directional audio cue that gains volume with proximity. Really cool. Juniper Bonsai added effect, increased passive phasing duration by 50%. They reworked the dried cherry blossom. It now trigger killer instinct when they come within 4 meters of the spirit while she's phasing. Oh my. Scratch marks are no longer visible while using Yamaoka's haunting. That's kind of cool. Now it's not, I believe now it's just not blood. Interesting. The Wakazashi Saya has been reworked. During Yamaoka's haunting, use the active ability button to return to the husk. Yeah. And end the haunting. New add-on. Mother's Glasses. Survivors trigger killer instinct when they come within 2 meters of the husk. Scratch marks are no longer visible while using Yamaoka's haunting. So now we have 2 add-ons that are removing Yamaoka's haunting. New add-on, Uchiwa. Instantly recharges Yamaoka's haunting when stunned by a pallet. I apologize if I'm pronouncing these wrong. I have no knowledge of the Japanese language at all. Added Senko Hanabi. When Yamaoka's haunting ends, Spirit's husk explodes, and any vaults within 4 meters are blocked for 5 seconds. That's going to be a pretty interesting one, to say the least. New add-on, Furin, the phasing sound is heard by all survivors. That's interesting. I don't know if that's going to be a good mind game or just kind of infuriating, like sometimes with the phase of whatchamacallin'. When you when you use Legion's Rush, right? And there's his iridescent add-on that makes it so he not only breaks pallets, but has a wide terror radius. By wide, I mean map-wide terror radius. That seems like it's going to be similar to that. Or more accurately, probably similar to the bell that makes everyone hear the phase. Kintsugi Teacup instantly recharges Yamaoka's haunting after breaking a pallet or wall. Okay. The following add-ons have been removed. Bloody Hair Brooch, Dirty Ubawaki, Kamatsuri Talisman, Prayer Bead, Bracelet, and Father's Glasses. Yep, Father's Glasses is being replaced by the Dried Cherry Blossom. Cool. And Mother's Glasses. That was the one that made you see blood, right? New Terror Radius music. I am excited to hear that. Spirits Phase Walking Mind Games. Yep, they've been painful. Now some things are going to be better. Plague! If the power button is released early, Vile Purge will continue charging to minimum threshold. We talked about this earlier. Vile Purge cooldown movement speed. We already talked about this. Base object infection. We already talked about this. Interacting with objects generates 2 times more sickness over time than interacting with non-infected objects. Interesting. Nice. I actually really like that. Time to cleanse now takes 8 seconds. We talked about that. Add-on Limestone Seal, object infection bonus increased to 20 seconds. It was 5 seconds. The Emetic Potion increases Vile Purge effectiveness bonus to 30%. It was 25. Hermetic Seal, object infection bonus increased to 30 seconds. It was 10 seconds. That's a good chunk. Infected Emetic decreased Vile Purge effectiveness bonus to 40%, was 50. Ashen Apple removed object infection duration modifier, probably due to the changes, and they added an effect that increases the number of pools devotion in the trial by 1, which is really cool. Now you get the apple, but you also get a whole ass pool, which is pretty cool. That rhymed. Rubbing oil reduced vial purge charge speed bonus to 50%. It was 100%. Cool. Exorcism amulet increased the corrupt purge duration bonus to 10 seconds. It was 6 seconds. Cool. Devotee's amulet increases corrupt purge duration bonus to 20 seconds. Was 8 seconds. That's a big change in those two. Black incense decreased survivor aura reveal duration to 3 seconds. It was 5 seconds. That's a nice little quality of life. I think it was a little powerful for something that makes it every time you vomit, which happens pretty damn often, to 5 whole seconds of seeing you, which is like half the time it takes for you to stop vomiting. Iridescent seal removed speed penalty while holding corrupt purge. Cool. They reworked prayer tablet fragment. Vile purge no longer affects survivors. Increase objects. Yes, this is the one that we're changing. Now it just increases the duration. Now it'll be a total of 80 seconds. And infected objects by 100%. We already talked about it. Reworked the add-on Oblinum incense. The incense. This is the one we read earlier, where auras are revealed for 4 seconds now when they cleanse. Reworked add-on prophylactic amulet. I apologize, I'm terrible at pronouncing everything. Decreases the number of pools of devotion in the trial by 2. Okay. I'm literally never going to run that. Reworked add-on incense ominent. Ingesting the corruption at a pool of devotion causes all survivors within the plague's terror radius to scream and reveal their locations. That's cool. And reworked add-on Violametic increases the velocity of vomit projectiles by 10%. Not sure how that's going to affect things, honestly. I don't really know what the... I mean, you know what? It does come out pretty slow. This could be quite powerful. Especially when you're talking about... I had a moment in one of my more recent videos where I vomited out, and I didn't hit the survivors because I didn't time it right. This will speed that up. So, that's interesting. And Deathslinger changes. Deathslinger must now wait for the enter aim to be done. That is 0.4 seconds, and then he must wait to exit aim to be able to attack for 0.6 seconds. Not huge. Gonna feel like something, though. Cooldown when a survivor breaks free is now the same duration as a successful hit cooldown. Cool. Increased terror radius to 32 was 24. Very, very nice. Add-on Gold Creek Whiskey. Removed movement speed penalty. Nice. Marshal's Badge. Removed movement speed penalty. Also nice. And Iridescent Coin. Decreased range requirements to 12 meters. Was 15. So that's going to be easier to use. And they reworked the Hellshire Iron. When a survivor is speared, gain undetectable. The effect persists for 10 seconds after the survivor is no longer speared. Okay. Yeah, okay. Hellshire Iron, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Gaining undetectable and persisting for 10 seconds is a fair bit, and you're already in chase. So this gives you the option to leave chase if somebody else is nearby, because you're undetectable. But it also gives you the option to try to play some mind games because you're undetectable. Maybe this will work in your favor, maybe it won't. Maybe the chain that locates you before it breaks is going to give a lot of information away. Maybe you're going to be able to use that. This is probably going to be an item or an add-on that becomes very centered on the killer's ability to play the mind game. And we'll see. Ghostface. Night Shroud recovery time decreased to 24 seconds. Oh my god, that's so nice. It was 30 seconds, which was incredibly high for, honestly, anybody's. Walleye's Matchbook decreased Night Shroud recovery modifier to 2 seconds, was 4. Understandable, you're going to change that, so you change this. Olsen's Address Book modified to 3 seconds to 6 seconds. I think that these add-ons are still going to be pretty piddly shit, because having the time on both of them to give us 6 extra seconds base is kind of sucky. And the chewed pen is the same thing, so now it's 4 seconds instead of 8 seconds. Again, pretty piddly. Though 4 seconds down to 20 seconds instead of 24 is something. And if you pair that with the address book, then you're down to 17. But even then, I don't know if you needed to nerf these add-ons quite as heavily. We'll see. We'll see how that works out, but it is nice to see that you can actually do something where, you know, Olsen's address book is essentially now base kit, because there's 6 less seconds than there was before. I don't know if this is going to be too much on the decrease of the add-ons. Maybe 1 more second each would be kind of nice. Getting 5 seconds out of the last one, and like 4 seconds, I think is a little, yeah, I think still pretty piddly as far as the time you're shredding off of it, because you want your power as often as possible, but we'll see if this in general makes this nice. We'll see. Blight. Add-on, Adrenaline Vial, increased rush token recharge bonus to 1 second, was 0.75 seconds. Added the increased rushing speed by 10%. Cool. And Summoning Stone, because people really like going fast. Summoning Stone increased pallet blocking range to 16 meters, was 12 meters, and increased pallet blocking duration to 15 seconds, was 6 seconds. That's a pretty substantial change in numbers. I'm not going to lie. Survivor perks. Babysitter is now Guardian. Oh. Camaraderie is now Kinship. Second Wind is now Renewal. Better Together is now Situational Awareness. Fixated is now Self-Aware. And Inner Strength is now Inner Healing. I could care less how you change the names, to be 100% honest with you. It's the art that bugs me more, but it is what it is. Perk Balancing for survivors right now. Vigil recovery bonuses increased to 20, 25, and 30%. Was 10, 15, and 20. Added Broken, Exposed, and Oblivious to the effects that are modified by the perk. Guardian, formerly Babysitter, added a 7% haste bonus to the rescued survivor. Removed the killer seeing auras. Killer aura visibility for you to see is now 8 seconds. So removing the killer seeing your aura and increasing your time to 8 seconds that you get to see where the killer is, which is pretty cool. Guardian, the old Babysitter, is going to be quite powerful. For the people, reduce the duration of the broken status effect down to 80 seconds, 70 seconds, and 60 seconds, which is pretty substantial because that's about 30 seconds each from where it was before. It's quite a bit. Half a minute is half a minute. Half a minute in the game not being broken is going to be quite powerful. Repressed Alliance. Generator repair requirements are reduced to 55, 50, and 45 seconds. We did just talk about this one today, which is pretty cool. It was 80, 70, and 60. I wanted to know the difference. Built to Last is reworked after hiding inside a locker for 14, 13, and 12 seconds. Depleted item 99, reduced by 33 every time you do it. And then Any Means Necessary added the effect. You can see the auras of dropped pallets. No mither. Grunts of Pain reduction. Yeah. So those are the changes. We read most of them now and some of them last time. Killer perks. Perk Balancing. Following perks have become general perks and their names have changed. Surge is now Jolt. Mindbreaker is now Fearmonger. And Cruel Limits is now Claustrophobia. Interesting. I actually kind of like the name Claustrophobia, but I'm not sure what Cruel Limits does for people, to be 100% honest. It's not that great a perk. Mindbreaker seems like it would be nicer. Surge is now Jolt. Makes me sad, but okay. Hex Retribution. Oblivious condition changed to trigger from interacting with any type of totem. Was just cleansing the Hex totems. Increased aura reveal time to 15 seconds. Was 10 seconds. And Blood Favor. Pallet blocking effect now triggers off basic attacks and special attacks. Pallet blocking radius is increased to 32 meters. It was 16 meters. Cooldown has been removed. That's a whole whack of changes to a otherwise unused kind of perk, because 32 meters is a lot more and 16 meters a lot less. And the cooldown has been removed altogether. So that actually blocks off a lot of power for the survivors in that perk kind of just not doing anything. Now I think it might actually do something, especially if you're playing someone like Huntress and you land a hatchet, and then 32 meters from that survivor, there are no pallets for them to drop, is pretty cool. Third Seal Blindness effect now triggers off basic attacks and special attacks. Was just basic attacks. That's pretty nice add-on. Thrill of Hunt. Survival penalty now applies to both cleansing and blessing actions. It was just cleansing. Penalty stacked increase 8, 9, and 10% per stack. It was 4, 5, and 6. That's pretty big. And the maximum penalty increased to 40, 45 and 50%. It was 30%. Allows noise notification has been removed, though. Fearmonger, formerly Mindbreaker, now applies exhausted and blindness. Was just exhausted. Optimization implemented a status effect preloading system to fix issues with hitches and when a status effect is first applied during a match. Currently implemented for Adrenaline, Balance Landing, Noed, Sloppy Butcher, and Shapes Evil Within. Preloading system to fix issues of hitches when a status effect. Cool. I'm not sure how that affects me. The language is actually above my head right now. I don't really know what it means. Fixed an issue that could cause hitches when a survivor is unhooked. I need to look what they mean by hitches. They're talking about hitches, and I don't know what it means, so maybe I should get some clarification. Hitches, meaning. There we go. Hitch. The jerk motion when you get off a hook and that stuff. That's interesting. Okay, performance optimization on all survivor items, performance optimization on hex perks. Dead Dog Saloon has been re-enabled. Cool. Bug fixes. Fixed an issue that caused the survivor to be able to vault over traps placed too close to vault points. Interesting. Fixed an issue that made it impossible to cleanse a totem next to a cabinet in the treatment theater map. That's really, really good. No impossible to cleanse totem. Fixed an issue that, imagine Ruin or Devour Hope being on that particular one. That would suck. Fixed an issue that made it impossible to cleanse a totem between a barrel and a box of crates in the Underground Complex map. Yeah, the Underground Complex is getting removed, so we'll see what they do with it in the future. Fixed an issue that made it impossible to cleanse a totem behind the staircase and log pile in Dead Dog Saloon map. That's 3 totems that are fixed. Fixed an issue that caused the clown's gas to dissipate quickly in any house basement. Fixed an issue that may cause a status effect icon to remain unidentified on the screen. Fixed an issue that caused stalking progress to jump upon ending the stalk when the distance to the stalk survivor changes. Ah, so nice. Fixed an issue that caused survivors' faces to distort when being unhooked by a survivor of the opposite gender. Really, really, really weird circumstance set. Fixed an issue that caused the survivors to recoil back when failing the second skill check while using the brand new part add-on. Cool. Fixed an issue that caused the carrying music to continue playing when a survivor disconnects while being picked up. Fixed an issue that causes killers to clip through the ground when walking in the tally screen. Cool. Fixed an issue that caused the auras of carried survivors to be revealed when using the aftercare situational awareness, formerly Better Together, and No One Left Behind perks. Cool. Fixed an issue that caused the aura of survivors sent to the Cage of Atonement to be revealed when using Iridescent Seal of Metatron Pyramid Head add-on. Cool. Yeah, fixed an issue that caused survivors' laceration meter to continue to decrease for other survivors after they escape the challenge. Fixed an issue that caused the alert perk not to reveal the Nemesis Tentacle Strike palette action. Cool. Fixed an issue that caused the interaction prompt button icons on the HUD to not be affected by the large text setting. Fixed an issue with the buff icon missing from the HUD whenever the clown steps onto an antidote class cloud and gains haste. That's nice. Fixed a back button disappearance in Search for Friends screen 4K resolution. Fixed an issue where holding the backspace key to clear the chat didn't work anymore. That's nice. Fixed an issue that caused some of Claudette's head icons to appear darker. Okay. Fixed an issue that caused bots to sometimes enter lockers while in the killer's view. Fixed an issue that caused an error to sometimes occur when linking accounts. Fixed an issue that caused an error to sometimes occur when unlinking a unified account. Fixed an issue that caused the to be displayed in public match and tally chats instead of entering blank text. Fixed an issue that caused pallets that can't be vaulted near main building in Wretched Shop. Interesting. Fixed an issue that caused Executioner's sound effects to be delayed when he plants his blade in the ground. Nice. Fixed an issue that caused a missing sound effect during the chains animation when wearing the chatter outfit. Interesting. Fixed an issue that caused the splash sound effect to be muted when a survivor is hooked at a certain location in the Springwood map. Interesting. Known issues. This is the last little bit before we get to just kind of go over my final thoughts. Add-on text in non-English language is completely updated and translated. Several totem is not completely updated or translated. Several totems on various maps cannot be snuffed by the killer. So I'm assuming that snuffing is what we're doing to the boon totems. A totem next to a window in mine building in the suffocation pit cannot be cleansed. When a survivor cleanses a totem, the pieces appear to explode. The camera, yeah, that's interesting. The camera becomes stuck. They probably just built it off of it. The camera becomes stuck partway through the plague's Mori for Yunjin. Don't Mori Yunjin if you're plague. Well, inside of the boon totem radius, survivors' screens briefly become fully covered by the boon totem vignette when the killer switches between Charlotte and Victor. Interesting. Very interesting interaction. The trapper can place a bear trap at the beginning of the tutorial. Okay. The executioner's hand does not rotate properly when picking up a survivor. Female survivors' faces are distorted when chained by chain hunt. Female survivors become stuck in the lament configuration solving animation if the Cenobite has previously teleported near them solving it. The Cenobite's chains are momentarily stretched and flicker at the start of his Mori. The survivor organs appear black during the Hag's Mori. The survivor does not pour out Michaela's mouth during Ghostface Mori. Oh, blood does not pour out of Michaela's mouth right now. The perk Guardian, formerly Babysitter, its external buff icon displays the icon for Babysitter. That's something they have to fix. Replaced Alliance perk description has the wrong value at tier run. And Hag Retribution perk description is not properly updated. Pig add-on videotape is disabled during the PTB. I don't know why. Survivor run in place when opening the hatch. That's interesting. So those are the known issues. That's the whole PTB. This is a much, much longer video than I usually make for YouTube. But I needed to bring you guys this because I'm not going to be talking about it on stream because I'm going to be playing a different game today. Come join me at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. Right now, we don't have Saturday fully scheduled. We're planning on doing it at 5 p.m., but due to some changes in how work is going, Tuesdays might actually stop being a thing altogether. And I'll get to that when I get to that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Love all of you bandits. And leave me a subscribe or a follow if you're new. Come join our bandit Discord. I'll put it in the description. And it's been lovely talking to you all and going over the new changes to the PTB. And I'll be very excited to play this on Thursday, not today, with a group and see how the new survivor is and all of that fun stuff and looking at all the numbers and everything. And there's going to be so much interesting stuff. I'm going to have to play as some of these killers, Plague and Spirit in particular. Pig probably just going to try out that videotape. Oh, wait, it's blocked off. This is honestly, I think, one of the most ridiculous changes to an add-on, but we'll see. And then, yeah, everything looks pretty decent. There's a few things I disagree with, but you know what? Overall, until I've truly tested them, I can't really say they're bad. You know what I mean? But without further ado, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.